The Navajo tale, The Story of the Emergence, is brought to you by Not a Prophet org, the place on the internet to find spiritual guidance powered by artificial intelligence. When the people came out of the sweat house, Begochiddy told them to rub themselves with earth, which they did, thanking the earth as they did it. Then they went into the sweat house again, and the Locust appeared and said, "I will sing for you." So they all went in together, and the Locust sang to them. He sang about what he had done in helping the people to come up into this world, and about the contest with the great birds. Meanwhile the daughter of the otter brought water in a wooden bowl, and left it by the door outside, and when the people came out for the second time, they bathed in this water. Then they went into the sweat house again, and began to plan to build some mountains on the earth. The first was Siss-nah-jini, holy mountain of the east. The next was Tsoll-tsilth, Mount Taylor, then Navajo, mountain south of Zuni, next Dogo, Slied San Francisco peaks, then Debayant, Sa La Plata mountains, next Tsilth, Tseh-nah-hahleh Huafano mountain, next Jolene, Pedernal peak, next Tratadine, a peak of the Jemez range. Then they planned some rivers, Tobacani, the male San Juan River, and Toba, the female Rio Grande water, then a lake, Hajina, where the people came out of the bamboo, near Silverton, Colorado. Then they planned some more mountains, Tsilth, White Mountains, Tsilth, Kod-Chuskai Mountains, Tsilth-il, and Tai Mountains near Chinle, Arizona, Tsilth, Tai Sangre de Cristo Range near Santa Fe, New Mexico, Tsilth, Teen, Deltai Jemez Mountain, Tsilth, Bill Williams Mountains south of San Francisco Peaks, Arizona. And then going westward towards California, they planned these mountains Tsilth, thens Kai-Tsilth, Kis-la-Kai-Tsilth, Dithclith-Tsilth, Klitsoid-Tsilth-in, Dakant-Tsilth, Dajij, Sheger, Tsilth, Bin, a Hasteenth Seal, Tsilth, Neeteenth Seal, and Tsil, Thran, East Seal, Bright Shining or Blue Mountain, on Santa Cruz Island, California. Then they planned to create the sun, Johannae, and the moon, Cleonae, and many stars, the morning star, Sanso, the evening star, which is also Sanso, the north star, Sanso, Dondo Zidi, one that does not move, and Sanso, Des, the red star overhead. Also they planned the constellations, the Dipper or male stars going around like a clock, Nohokos Bakani, the Little Dipper or female stars going around, Nahokos Baadi, and the Pleiades or seventh stars, which is Diljihe. They planned also Orion at Sayetsosi, the Thin Man, the Rabbit's Feet, Guateji, the Milky Way, Ikayestahi, the Crown, Nashi, Taithli, and Taurus, Bisoli or two stars together, and the Great Snake of the North, Klishso. They also planned Tajuni, Smoky Star or Nebula, Don't, Whatso, two stars hooked together, Sant, Bid, the star with horns, also Sante, Deka, a star out of sight in the east, and the Coyote star, also in the east, called Maebisant. And all of these stars, mountains, the sun, moon, and the rivers were planned while the people were in the sweat house. Then they began to plan the months. Each month had its own name and character, and some of them had their own stars. The star for November was Hasteen, old man bending over, and this was called Nilch, Sosi, the small wind month. The December star is Azate, so first big medicine, and it was called Nilch, Soy, or big, cold wind month. The January stars are Coyote, rabbit tracks or rattle, and this month was called Zus, Entleys, or Tiachem, icy sheet. The February stars are Ikai, Astahi the Milky Way, and it was called Atsabayash, or young eagle month. March's name is Wooz, cheed noise made by eaglets, and it was called Ikneet, Sosi, or little thunder month. April was called Tan, chill, small growth, and the canyon wren belongs to that month, and its stars are Tuj, Begay turkey tracks. Another name for April is Sat, Ibe, meaning mountain sheep have lambs month, and a bird called Debe, nay Phoebe, also belongs to it. May was called Tant, so large growth, and its star is Datsani porcupine. June's name was Ayaz, chili, meaning early greens are grown. Its star is Yehtso, or the great snake. July was called Ayazusht, so, meaning large growth and young fawn's month, and Wuzzy, Jishi, the measuring worm, belongs to it. August's name was Bini, Tant, Sosi meaning corn tassels, have come, and the Althani, or corn bugs, belong to it. Its stars are all the small stars in the center of the sky. September was named Bini, Tant, so, meaning when everything is ripe and even. The mountains are ripe. Its stars are Nashalth, Heli the ducks. October was called Ganji, meaning half winter and half summer, and its star is Santso, Don. Dozidi, meaning north, star stands there. These things they planned to make upon this world. And then they came out of the sweat house, and made another Hagan of rainbows called Hediah, which belonged to Cade. Estigii, the man, wrapped in her rainbow, and inside the Hagan they spread many kinds of robes, and all 6 of the gods, and all the Yea gods, and all the chiefs gathered in this Hagan for a big council. And they sang the beginning of the world a song, Natin song Odolith, and Natin Odolith first verse. Nahistsin Odolith, Hediah, Donbith Odolith, Tassa Odolith, Sehenari Bikihajan Odolith, Tsil, the son Odolith. In Santsil Odolith, in Klijatase Odolith, Kesai Oni Odolith, Toha son Odolith, Toasht Lanashin Odolith, Sehenari Bikhajan Odolith, Natahia son Odolith, Tradidin, Bith Odolith, Sehenari Bikhajan Odolith. Second verse, Elkadon, Shehit Tanizan. Third verse, Hadiah Danvan, Ent Sisakase. Fourth verse, Elkadon, Bei Holgistis. Beginning of the world song. It begins, creating the world, creating the mountain gods, creating mountain rain, and creating beads and jewelry, creating Sahanare Bikehajan, creating mountain man, creating little rain on mountain, creating jewelry and beads, creating the Holy Spirit, creating little rain spirit, creating Sahanare Bikehajan, creating all mixed springs, lakes and ponds, creating Sahanare Bikehajan, creating the spirit of creating the spirit of corn pollen, creating Sahanare Bikehajan. The song is repeated 3 times, substituting for Odolith creating, second verse. The beginning of the world, I knew about it before. Third verse, the beginning of the world, I am thinking about it. Fourth verse, the beginning of the world, I am talking about it, repeating the rest of the song as in the first verse. The spirits of all the things about to be created were also in the Hagan with the gods and the chiefs. All the corn and all the seeds were brought by the Yea gods at Begochiddy's request. Hashjishjin brought all the stars, the sun, the moon, and all the light, and the other people brought the rest of the things that were to be on this world. They were all in the Hagan. They decided to place the mountain Siss-nah-jini in the east, and they made a pile of dirt to represent it in the Hagan. And they made the spirit for this mountain. And then all the mountains that have been named before in this story were placed in their proper positions in the Hagan. They put the sun in the east and the moon in the west, and in the middle they placed the Tseh-nah-hahleh mountains and Black Mountain, which is near Chin-li, and also the Jemez mountains. And they made a song about the creating of the mountains, and they made spirits like men, and put them into all these mountains and into the sun and the moon. Then they sang the song of the Holy Spirit of darkness, Hajan la Hajan la, Hajan la Hajan la, Sehenare Hajoni. By Kegaklij, Inensli, Hajan la Hajan la, Hajan la Hajan la, which means the world is beautiful and we are going to put the spirit into it. While they were creating the spirits, they always sang. Hashjishjin and Chustegi, who are the black gods and our brothers, now put their own spirits into the stars and the mountains. And these spirits were in human form in the likenesses of Hashjishjin and Chustegi. Then Begochiddy told the council that all of the songs which had been sung since the making of the first world should be remembered by men forever, and that also they must remember all the names of the mountains and all the other gods repeated what he had said. Etsay-dassalini, the first male, and Essa, a son, the first female, who have the spirit of sickness and give it to men if they do wrong, said to the people, If you do not remember these things and reverence them, we will bring sickness upon you. And all the gods said the same, and the Yea gods were appointed to watch over the people, and they gave flint to them so that they could get fire. Begochiddy said, "We must hurry and create the spirit of the earth Nahestin, Biestin, which is the spirit that makes things grow." So they created this spirit, who was painted with a yellow stripe across her mouth, a blue stripe across her nose, and on her eyes a black stripe, and on her forehead a white stripe. And she had blue horns with black tips. The spirit had eagle feathers on her head, and on the feathers were different kinds of birds, and in her hand she had a pollen basket, and she was wrapped in a blanket made of everything that grows on the earth. Then they created the spirit of the sky, Yahdithclithi, Biestin, the rain and cloud spirit, who was dressed like the earth spirit, except that he had black horns with blue at the ends. He had a head, dress of clouds, and on the clouds were all kinds of rain and fog, and in his hand he carried a water jug, and he was wrapped in a black cloud robe. He controls the rain. The earth and sky spirits are connected with corn pollen. Their hands and feet are clasped together, and the mouth of one of these spirits is connected with the other. And also they have a black wind and a blue wind which work together, and this is called Tradidine, Yehtso. There is a prayer about this which is part of the ceremony. Tseh-nah-hahleh and Begochiddy are the holy spirits to the earth and to the sky. He decided that the spirit of Siss-nah-jini, the holy mountain of the east, should be dressed in white shell beads, but the spirit of Tsoll-tsilth, Mount Taylor, became jealous because he wanted to wear white shell, and they argued with him 4 times about it. Finally it was decided that Siss-nah-jini's spirit should be dressed in white shell with a big white shell for a head dress. And they gave him the white corn to carry, and his blanket was made of morning light. And they put a small white shell in his mouth. Tsoll-tsilth's spirit was dressed in turquoise in the same way as Siss-nah-jini's, but his blanket was turquoise, and they gave him blue birds, and they put turquoise in his mouth. The spirit of Dogo, Sliad San Francisco Mountain, was dressed in a balloon shell. They gave him yellow corn to carry, and his blanket was made of yellow sunset light, and in his mouth was put a small abalone shell. The spirit of Debayant, Sa La Plata Mountains, was dressed in jet. His blanket was a robe of night blackness, and he was given all the game, deer, sheep, antelope, and in his mouth was put jet. The spirit of Tsilth, Nah-at-Sithli Huafano Mountain, was dressed in all kinds of colored clothing, and they gave him a robe of agate, and put in his mouth white crystals. The spirit of Jolene Pedernal Mountain was dressed in all kinds of jewelry, and his blanket was made of rainbows, and they put corn pollen in his mouth. There are 2 mountains which are built like men, the Tseh-nah-hahleh Mountains and the Black Mountains. Niltsit-seal, the Rainy Mountains Tseh-nah-hahleh Range, was dressed in Natsin-nah-hahleh. His head is Beautiful Mountain. He has a turquoise rattle. His hand is a mountain near Begochiddy. His feet are 2 peaks west of Tohatchi, and the red patch of earth at Todilna is his heart. The spirit of Tsilth, Collision or Black Mountain, which is near Chin-li, is dressed the same as the Tseh-nah-hahleh Mountains in Natsin-nah-hahleh. His feet are near Indian Wells. His tail is close to Ganado. The trail to Ore by is his middle, and in the center of Black Mountain is a hollow space where his ribs are. His heart is in the Black Mountains, and his head is north near the San Juan River. His hands are the cliffs northwest of his head, near Marsh Pass, and he had a big ear of corn in his hand, Tsakan. The mountains that they had built in the first world were now remade in this fourth world, and the Jemez and Sangre de Cristo mountains were both dressed in turquoise. Santa Fe Mountain is called Tradidine, Tsilth Corn Pollen Mountain, and Jemez Mountain is called Analftane, Tsilth Corn Bug Mountain. The Coyote now said, "Give me some dirt out of which you are making mountains." But they refused, saying, "You are not clever enough to make mountains." He said, "Yes, I am clever enough." He asked this 4 times, and finally the gods gave him some of the earth which was left after making so many kinds of mountains. And the Coyote took it and made a peak in the south and decorated it with aloe. He said, "This will be called my mountain." It took the shape of his paws, and it has that shape now, and is called Pagosa Peak. Then they made the sun of fire with a rainbow around it, and they put the turquoise man into the sun as its spirit. The sun should be represented with woodpecker feathers around it, and with horns. The moon was made of ice with a rainbow around it, and the spirit of the moon was the white shell man. The moon should be represented with horns also. Then they made a black wind, and they put the spirit of the Abalone man into it. This is the east wind. They then made a yellow wind and put the spirit of the red shell man into it. The winds also have horns, and wear twisted wind robes around them. Then they made the fall and winter, and put them in the north and west, and they made the spring and summer, and placed them in the south and east, each to be 6 months long. The Coyote claimed 1 month, which was October, and Begochiddy made a prayer stick of Locust bamboo, half yellow and half white, representing summer and winter, and gave it to him in answer to his claim. October is the mixed-up or changing month, and is so known to all the Indians. Then all the spirits which had been made went into the places where they belonged, and they raised the sun and moon and stars and winds, and placed them in their proper places. They were all spirits. Ascent placed the North Star, and said that everything was complete, and that he was glad. Begochiddy said to Etsay-dassalini, "Why do you not place some stars?" So Etsay-dassalini made the Big Dipper, and placed it, and dressed it in feathers, and gave it horns. And Etsay, his son, also took stars, and placed the Little Dipper, and Etsay-dassalini also placed the 7 stars. Ascent claimed that the 7 stars were on his foot, and on his knees and hips and back and shoulders, and on the side of his face. Etsay, his son, picked up another star, Etsay-dassalini, and placed it at the south. She also picked up another star, Etsay-dassalini, and placed it. And she placed the Milky Way and the crown and the porcupine star and the Southern Cross. Etsay-dassalini arranged the rabbit's track, and placed the porcupine star and the horned star and several others. They took turns in placing the stars. Then Tseh-nah-hahleh, the Coyote, said, "Let me try." And he asked for 2 stars. So they gave him 2, but he could not find a good place in which to place them, and had to put them close together, and called them the fighting stars. Then he asked them for another star, and he placed it at the south near the horizon antares, and called it the Coyote star. It goes to sleep after the sun sets. He was still greedy and asked for more, but was refused. So he filled both paws full of stars, and threw them into the sky, which made the tiny stars which cover it all over. Ascent's is the cornet star with a tail. Then they placed 12 big white cyclones, Yehtso, in the east under the edge of the world, and 12 blue cyclones, Yehtso-dassalini, under the edge of the world at the south, and 12 yellow cyclones, Yehtso-dssalini, in the west under the edge of the world, and 12 black cyclones under the north. And these 48 cyclones are what hold the world up. They also sent all kinds of wines up to the sky to hold up the sky and stars. The Indians have a wind prayer, Siss-nah-jini, which is to help these winds hold up the world. Begochiddy told them now to chew up the roots and herbs, and then blow this medicine in different directions. Then Begochiddy took the ashy and motioned toward all creation, and it came to life. And the sun started to rise in the east, and the sun spirit's heart started to beat. The sun and the moon moved quickly, and the mountains and stars slowly, and the eyes of the people in council were paralyzed at seeing this movement. And everyone was petrified and called out, "What is the matter with our eyes? They won't move." Etsay-dassalini, the Coyote, and Ascent knew why this happened, and Etsay-dassalini jumped up and said, "I will explain it to you. The son-in-law and mother-in-law must not look at each other. It is like the stars. The constellation Etsay-tzio is the mother-in-law, and the constellation Dulgihe is the son-in-law, and these stars must not meet. For the same reason, mother-in-law and son-in-law must not see each other, and if they do, their eyes will become blind." When they had understood this, their eyes ceased to be paralyzed. They named the earth spirit Nah-hahleh, Begochiddy, and the sun, Johanna, and the sky spirit Yah-dith-clithi, Begochiddy, and the moon, Cleona, and the 2 mountains, Siss-nah-jini and Tsoll-tsilth. And while they were being named, the Coyote said, "Tsoll-tsilth is my name, and I want it." But they said, "No, you cannot have it. Your name is Ma, I thief." He said, I am not a thief." And he was very angry and sent his spirit to trouble Tsoll-tsilth Mount Taylor, which began to slide down, so that the gods had to put a lot of small peaks of Malpai's badlands around the mountains to stop it from slipping, and the little peaks succeeded in holding it, and they are still doing so. They asked Tsoll-tsilth if he was all right now, and the mountain said that he was quite comfortable. He cut the hair off from one side of his head, so that there are trees on one side only today. Then the council named all the mountains in their order, and they all went where they are today. First death and first movement of creation. Everything was in its place, but the earth, sky, sun, and moon did not move, and the Coyote said the reason was that a person was going to die. Begochiddy told this to the Coyote, and the Coyote told the people. Then the first person died, who was called Etsay-dassalini, and at once the earth and the sun and moon began to move again, and the sun said, "I am glad when a person dies, as that is what keeps me moving, and I am glad to keep moving." Begochiddy planted everything that grew, and made everything that breathed, and took the Tseh-nah-hahleh, and motioned toward all creatures and plants, and they came to life. He appointed the seasons for everything that grew, and they answered, "We will do as we are told." And all creation started, and the ants began building houses. The first time that the sun crossed the sky, it was too near the earth, and it was too hot. The second time it still was too hot. The third time it was still too hot. But the fourth time it was exactly in the right place, and it has stayed there ever since. Etsay-dassalini asked, "Where has the life gone from the man who died?" No one knew, so he kept on asking all the people until he came to Begochiddy, who answered him, "I will hunt for it." So he hunted for a long time, but could not find the life that had gone until he looked down into the third world. And there he saw the man who had died brushing his hair, his face painted red. And Begochiddy came to the people and said, "I have seen the man who died down below in the third world. I saw him with the shadow of the Tseh-nah-hahleh. You must live holy lives, for the people who do wrong go down to the burning pitch place where there is an enormous monster who devours people. The people who go down there are called chindi, or devils." Begochiddy then said to the people, "I am going to heaven now, but I will come back in 2 days. Watch me go up." And they all watched him as he went straight up into the air. At this time Tseh-nah-hahleh died, and he was the second man to die. When Begochiddy came back in 2 days, he said it was a very beautiful place up there in heaven, and that he had seen Tseh-nah-hahleh in a very beautiful place, sitting surrounded by flowers, and smelling of them, and Begochiddy said, "All who believe in my word will go up to heaven, but all who do wrong or think wrong will go down to where the pitch is burning." While Begochiddy was in heaven, he made a man called Begothkai, whom he called his son, and brought back with him to earth. He was a short man, white in flesh, with black eyes and black hair, and with a white face. "Begothk, I spoke to the people and told them to move to Nadit, seal north of Durango, Colorado, where there are 4 mountains in a line. And after they had done as he told them, then they could live wherever they liked." Then Begochiddy and his son went back to heaven, and day and night came to the earth as they come today. Begothk, I never has come down again from heaven. When the people first emerged from the lower world, they had seen a Yeh over on Mount Taylor, Tsoll-tsilth, but he was small, and they were not afraid. Now they saw him again, and he had grown very large, and had a very big nose, small eyes, and black whiskers on his chin. They realized that he had turned into a giant. When they first saw him, they thought he was a Yeh, but now they knew that he was a Yehtso, or big giant. The reason that the giant lived on Tsoll-tsilth was because Tsoll-tsilth was a badly behaved mountain which had argued about its name, and had asked to dress in white shell beads. The sun claimed the giant and called him his son, although he really was not related to him, and the sun took the giant to his home and dressed him with stone shoes and clothing of beige or obsidian to protect him from his enemies, and he gave him the lightning arrow Ikni-ka as a weapon for his right hand, and a stone knife for his left hand. When he had dressed him, the sun took the Yehtso on a streak of lightning and went to Tsoll-tsilth. The giant had a hot spring to from which he drank, and though the people lived far from this place, when the giant would call Singo, the people were forced to come to him, and then he would eat them. Then the people saw another kind of monster called Coyote, who lived at Black Lake near Pueblo Bonito, New Mexico. This monster had 12 antelopes guarding him, and when the antelopes saw any person within reach, they told Coyote, and he ran out and grabbed them, and then ran backward on his own track to his den. Coyote looks like a gopher, but is enormous. He hunted in all 4 directions, and the people were very much afraid of him as he was very fierce. They never went near him, but he could often catch them as he could run very fast. There was an enormous bird, Tseh-nah-hahleh, who lived at Shiprock Tseh-nah, who had a very long beak, very large eyes, and his claws were very long and sharp, and he ate people. He had 2 little ones in his nest whom he had to feed. There also was a man made of stone who lay stretched out on a hill beside the river just west of the Aztec ruins. When anyone walked past, he would kick them into the San Juan River, and when they were drowned, he would feed them to his 2 children. He was called Tseh-nah-hahleh, which means kicking rock. His children lived in the river and ate the drowned people. Also on the top of the Jemez Mountains there was a great hollow place called Yehtso, and there lived a great striped rock, which could roll very quickly in any direction, and killed people by rolling on them. It was called Tseh-nah-jini, rolling rock.